Hi Will, it's Mike with 3G Construction. I'm going to give you a detailed video on the siding. We're on the roof right now, back side of the chimney. Like I said, we're going to see if we can save you some money, and after taking a real close look, those prices are going to change on what we quoted you. That's the bad news, but the good news is we're going to see if we can save you some money taking a different route. And the reason why the price is going to change is because there's going to have to be a lot of trim removed in order to get the vinyl siding on there. So I'm going to focus on kind of what I originally told you about saving you some money, doing some wood replacement and getting creative. Basically, if the wood's solid, we're going to try to keep it. So we have a couple pieces here. You can see my knife kind of goes through there. We figured on replacing anything that my knife will go through. This whole side of the chimney, actually, siding and trim would be replaced. I'll try to make this as efficient as possible. I'm going to be going down the ladder here in a second, so you might want to look away because you probably get dizzy. Basically, I'll get my knife there. You can see right there, that's soft. That's soft. So it's only soft about 3 inches up. So what we were thinking about doing is cutting that back. Same over here, cutting that back all the way up, putting a piece of flash and tucking a piece of flashing in there the way it's supposed to be installed over a 1x piece of trim. And all the 1x is going to vary depending on how much needs to be cut off, but obviously we're going to make sure it's proportionate and it matches and all that stuff. But right here we would do the same. I think on this one we figured, I don't have my notes with me, but I believe we figured a 1x8 going up there and there. So I'm going down the ladder. Front of the house looks pretty good, with the exception of you have some fascia board right here. You can see my knife go through there. We're going to replace that whole stretch there, which it's 9 feet total. So let me step back here. Front looks pretty good. Side of the garage, it's only a couple inches there on the bottom. Once that stuff gets exposed, it's literally like a sponge. I'm gonna try to back up, and the shadowing is kind of a pain there. You can see all that right there. Once that gets wet, it keeps absorbing the water. But we test it all the way up until it starts getting hard all the way across. So what we would do is buzz that off all the way across, put some flashing in there, and then put a piece of trim going all the way down. And that would take care of this side of the garage. Next two sections, well, I should say next remaining sections, they get kind of bad, but bear with me here. We'll see if we can't get creative and find a way that's going to save you some money and at the same time take care of the issues on the home. You can see, get my knife line up here, that little line right there. They have a piece of flashing, but they really didn't do a good job putting it on there. It doesn't even, the flashing doesn't even go all the way over the trim. So I could see how water can get back there. But I think your best bet is we got what we call a belly band, and put a piece of trim all the way across, and that would seal that line there, so you wouldn't have to worry about any damage. There hasn't been a whole lot on that specific section, but you can see right there it's bubbled up a little bit. So that would have to be dealt with. I think the back side here, we figured on replacing a couple sheets, just because some of them, just it makes sense that, or the damage is so far up that we wouldn't be able to fix it with a piece of trim. So we figured a few sheets here, and then again putting some trim on the bottom. This side over here gets pretty bad, and I can tell you why in just one second here. You can see that's just probably like quit destroying my house, but that's really the only way I can tell where the damage is. You can see that little water stain coming down right from where your gutter and downspout are right there. Not a real good design, but it is what it is. When they designed the house, I'd be curious to know who the builder is. But you can see the water coming down. We figured on replacing a few sheets on this side as well, and that would take care of this side. Same here, but we figured on replacing all 3 of those sheets. Boom, boom, boom. That would take care of that. The lower section right here is actually pretty decent, until it starts getting over here in this corner. We'd replace those sheets right along that area here. When we look at the back of the house, I think your best bet is to just replace all the trim on the back. I think we figured 12 sheets. So we figured 12 sheets for the back, and then, you know, to be honest, Will, it definitely seems like some more damage has occurred here in the since the last video I took, which I know it wasn't a real good video, but nevertheless, when we were here, it certainly seems like there's a little more damage than since then. With the heavy rains we've had, it's really not a surprise to me. But I think your best bet is to replace those 12 sheets, and then what we would do is put a belly band here, and then a piece of trim right above the deck as well. We'd hold those sheets up to where we can get a piece of flashing in there, and then put the trim underneath there, so it'd be done properly. Well, I wouldn't say properly, but we'll just say the best possible route. Because I can tell you there's going to be a few instances when we're putting like maybe the belly bands on, we're not going to be able to get a piece of flashing on there unless we replace the entire side, like this side. That side over there, we'd have to. There's no way we're going to be able to get flashing on there. But it's still, if you keep it caulked and maintained, and with a fresh coat of paint, it should last several years. So it's really just maintaining the property after it gets painted, and I don't think you're going to have any more issues as long as everything's caulked and sealed and got a fresh coat of paint on there. This side, my knife here, we're going to put a belly band there. It's really not that terrible throughout here. In the corner where the chimney is, back in there is where the bottom side of the chimney. You probably know the house. There you go. You can see it there. That's all got to go. That chimney, pretty much all the way up the chimney on that side is no good. And again, we'd have the belly band on there to lock that seam in, so that seam's not exposed to the elements. Because, like I said, even with the flashing on there, you know, it's my opinion that they didn't do a very good job flashing it. And that stuff is the stuff defined as siding. Once it gets exposed to moisture, it just spreads. So we need to cover this gap up. It'll be your best bet. The verticals, caulk them, and that should solve that. But you can see all the, like the freeze board right there, it's called a freeze board underneath. That's all going to get caulked up all the way around here. I mean, it's going to get caulked 100%. That little seam there, 100% means 100%. There will not be any more gaps in the house at all if we decide to go this route, or if you decide to go this route. Hopefully that helps. There is a couple things that we're going to have to check on before we can get you the final prices. We should have them at the beginning of the week. This will give you something to look at over the weekend, and we just want to make sure that we are straight on our material costs and the types of materials we're going to be able to obtain. So we'll be getting back to you at the beginning of next week. Thanks, Will.